week, North Korea made such an embarrassing mistake that Kim himself said that it brought the dignity of the country to a collapse. Police have started picking up some of those prisoners that escaped last week, with one being caught after he went on Instagram Live. It's time you know about how insane Indian fairs are. A giant cargo ship appeared in a man's back garden, and 2026 may not be our glory year after all, because standing airline seats may be dropping next year. All of that and so much more on this week's roundup. So let's stop the yapping and let's get cracking! Oh, we've got dissent. We've got dissent. Get off. A lot of you guys wondering, oh, what's going on with your whip? This is because this frillage is because I whip you guys so hard to remind people to subscribe that we've broken the whip multiple times. So, oh no. We've broken a pillar too. Now, it's been a minute since we've spoken about good old North Korea on the channel, but they are back in the news this week because, boy, had they made an embarrassing mistake. In fact, Kim said the incident was so bad that it brought the dignity of North Korea to a collapse. Whatever that means. So, bit of context to this. About a month ago, North Korea very proudly announced the completion of their largest and most advanced warship to date, called the Jong Un. And this thing took like over a year to build. Kim, he was hyped about this one, and like he showed it. He threw this massive propaganda parade. He brought his daughter out, which is widely rumored to be his successor. And they got videos of those two like walking beside this 5,000-ton destroyer class vessel. And note, I say propaganda parade with a purpose, because remember, North Korea only allows the world, and I guess their citizens as well, to see what they're really proud of. And this one in particular, they really let the world see. Everyone got to see this. I mean, there is honestly so much footage and pictures. It's crazy. Anyway, they launched this ship and it seems like everything went off without a hitch. So far, so good. Problems came, however, when they decided to launch their second 5,000-ton warship. But the difference between this one and the first one is that we are not seeing any of the huge Kim parades, you know, with him walking beside it, anything like that. Because I don't think they're very proud of how things went down. All that we've got now to work off of is satellite images from foreign satellites, news reports, and Alex's vivid imagination. Now, it's reported that foreign satellites had detected signs of a second imminent launch, but this new warship seemed even more serious. It appeared to be equipped with systems capable of launching anti-air, anti-ship, and anti-submarine missiles, as well as cruise missiles and short-range ballistic missiles for striking land. So, yeah, the big boy ship. And this, what you're seeing here, is how it was supposed to be launched. It's called a sideways launching. And apparently this is kind of a new method for North Korean shipbuilders, as they usually launch it front-facing first. Not gonna lie, maybe they should have stuck to that, because apparently something went wrong and the back of the ship started sliding into the water first, leaving the front of it still on the ramp or on the land. This reportedly caused the ship to twist, and the pressure of the uneven angle caused the bottom of the ship to get punctured. They say this is likely from hitting part of the cradle or the seabed. Ultimately, the result of this is that it capsized and partially submerged. Yeah, and this is all while Kim himself was watching this in horror, probably in fury. Now, all that we see about this, instead of all of the boastings, is satellite images, foreign satellites, of it all covered up in blue tarp, half in the water and half still on land. Kim surprisingly did comment about this whole situation, though. He acknowledged it, saying that it was a serious accident and criminal act caused by absolute carelessness and irresponsibility, which is out of the bounds of possibility and cannot be tolerated. He said it brought the dignity and self-respect of our state to a collapse. And you don't embarrass Kim Jong Un in front of the entire world without someone paying for this, because he has already called for a Workers' Party meeting in late June to address their irresponsible errors. I do not want to imagine what is going to happen. Think about the person who made this mistake. Everyone makes mistakes, and now you're probably going to get for it. Crazy. I mean, I would never do that to my subjects. I mean, right, Alex? Right? Yeah, right. Moving on. Talking about ship crashes, though, imagine waking up one morning with a cargo ship in your back garden. And I mean, the story of how this ship ended up there is even crazier. So it's 5 a.m. in Trondheim, Norway, and this massive cargo ship, I don't know, loses control or something and crashes into this guy's back garden. But bro must have been the heaviest sleeper on the planet because he slept right through the whole thing. I need what Johan is on. In fact, his neighbors had to wake him up and be like, hey man, there's a ship in your back garden. Johan told the media that if it was 5 meters further south, it would have gone straight into his bedroom. So what caused this 135-meter container ship to crash? Well, no one knows yet. I feel like there's a lot of weird things happening with boats this year. All 16 crew members were on board, completely fine. And this situation gets even crazier because you find out that this is the 3rd time that this ship has run aground. Once in 2023, once in 2024, now in 2025. Come on! Who is steering this thing? North Korean shipbuilders? Sorry. We shouldn't be talking about such controversial countries in this manner. All right, moving on. Now, let's talk about Israel. Sorry. I don't do myself any favors. No, but seriously, the international pressure mounting on Israel this week has really started ramping up. And some ally countries are even threatening Israel to stop or else. So if you didn't know, a few weeks ago, after the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas broke down, Netanyahu announced a renewed military operation to go into Gaza and bring the entire strip under its military control. Now, it goes without saying, but this received widespread criticism. But a lot of allied countries remained pretty silent until this week. And this is when the UK, France, and Canada threatened to Israel to stop their operations in Gaza or else. They released a joint statement saying the level of human suffering in Gaza is intolerable, and the Israeli government's denial of essential humanitarian assistance is unacceptable and risks breaching international law. They wrote, if Israel does not cease the renewed military offensive and lift its restrictions on humanitarian aid, we will take further concrete actions in response. Now, Netanyahu saw this and responded honestly within hours, calling it a defensive war and that Israel will continue to defend itself by just means until total victory is achieved. Now, this was not the answer that they were looking for. So in response, the UK has now paused trade negotiations with Israel. They have sanctioned West Bank settlers and said that things are entering a dark new phase. The European Union, which is made up of 27 countries, also announced that they too will be reviewing their relationship with Israel. In response, Netanyahu accused the 3 countries of emboldening and siding with Hamas. And the very next day, things got even worse for Israel because CNN published a report saying that the United States had obtained new intelligence suggesting that Israel is making preparations to strike Iran's nuclear facilities. Now, if this is true, this would possibly change everything, because not only would that be directly undermining the United States, because they've been trying for a while now to negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran, but it would also risk igniting a much broader and more devastating war in the region. And I mean, that's not to mention the US is by far Israel's biggest ally. So straining relationships with them by doing this would be very dangerous for them. But what do you think? Would Israel actually do this? Or not. But, I mean, it's the end of the week now. They haven't yet, so I'll keep you guys updated. Moving on. Okay, also this week, man, this New Orleans prisoner escape thing, gosh, it's starting to feel like a full-blown real-life series now. Because authorities have now captured the 5th escapee. And looking at the picture, you'd probably think, yeah, maybe they tracked him down while he was seeing his wife and 3 kids. But no. Bro is 19. 19 I don't know if he looked like that when he was in there or whether that was like the most stressful few days of his life and it aged him like hell, but brother doesn't look 19. Anyway, that leaves 5 that are still out there. I think by this time it's like 14 days almost. And people are like in the full swing of already like betting on online of like who's gonna last the longest. The man currently leading the odds is 32-year-old Antoine Massey. This is the guy that not only is the mastermind behind this whole escape, but he is a 4-time escapee. He is wanted for kidnapping, RAPE, I can't really say it on here, domestic abuse, probably much worse, and officials are like seriously questioning if he has escaped 4 times before, why wasn't he under tighter watch? Also, the prison maintenance worker who actually helped them escape by shutting off the water so they could remove the toilet, well, he too has been arrested now. But here's where things get real, because under Louisiana law, aiding a person escape is a felony, and that can carry a 10-year prison sentence for each count. This guy is now facing 10 counts of principal to escape, and he's not the only one. 6 others have now been arrested for helping these guys. How corrupt is this prison? You got prisoners working as staff. It's crazy. And like, the internet is like fully joined in with this as well. Like the TikToks that I'm seeing, they're like, in today's episode of Prison Break, and then, oh, so-and-so has got caught. We can't take, you know how, man, I don't even want to get into this again. Point is, that's your update for this. 5 caught, 5 left, let's move on. It's now being reported that several low-cost airlines across Europe are now considering swapping out some of these economy class seats for new standing seats. They're called prototypes called Skyrider 2.0. What a fun and friendly name that you'll love to ride. I hate you! Now, passengers would sit at this 45-degree angle with shame, and they're positioned upright so that the airline can fit more seats closer together. You're wondering why? The profits. No, the PR version of this is the reason is why. They will increase passenger capacity by 20%. They're 50% lighter, so that'll cut down on fuel costs. And they also have less components, so that will save them money on maintenance too. It's starting to really sound like profits now, isn't it? Sorry, let me look at what that PR explanation was. Oh, they'll do this so that they can reduce the ticket airline and so it can save you money. It's all for you. So keep that in mind. Right? Remember that they are trying to save you money. They are being generous and kind. And keep that in mind when your ass is on fire. Feeling like you're just been to a Diddy party and you won't feel so bad then. Coming from the man that once claimed he had a serious news channel, huh? God damn it. You will be happy to hear, though, that these seats do actually adhere to global safety regulations. And they will only be contained to specific flights, you know, most likely the ones that are 1 or 2 hours. But if you look at a seat, right, and you have to question whether it's legal or not, it probably shouldn't be! Sorry. Anyway, so the question is, would you be willing to go through a little bit of discomfort for the promise, keyword, of a better price or not? Moving on. You want to know what's there's something that's arguably even more terrifying than riding standing plane seats, and that is riding rides at Indian fairs. Riding rides. Yeah, that works. Why has no one told me about how insane Indian fairs are? For example, this is the Chicha Vitricha fair, where it is completely normal to have dozens of rides of questionable stability, really questionable stability, spinning right over the heads of packed crowds below. I mean, I don't know whether it's worse to be on the ride or below. Equally as terrifying, it seems. But it's not terrifying. This is completely normal. As you see, standard stuff with their facial expressions. This is another day. And to be fair, in India, like, these are not just fairs, which is why it's so packed. They are huge cultural and religious events that attract millions of people from across India. In some regions, villages will be left deserted for days while everyone attends these fairs. Well, I think they're called melas. Melas. Anyone in the comments from India? I think it's melas. In fact, you can also confirm this, but I've read that this is where men are also encouraged to go and find potential wives. But, do I have to say it? Do I? Doesn't look like the most romantic place to make a move. I feel like there's got to be better places. Anyway, I mean, no matter how chaotic it looks, it does look like a fun experience to have. Come on. So I will say, at some point in my life, I don't know when, I don't know where, I do know where, it's going to be in India, but I will attend an Indian fair for the experience of, yes. All right, I'm making that promise. It's on the internet. Moving on. I feel like it's about time. You guys are getting way too comfortable thinking you can't subscribe when you have to. Everyone, today's 3 sacrificial lambs, honor them, because they hurt to remind you to subscribe so you don't have to hurt. If it wasn't for them, everyone would be getting whippings and everyone would be miserable. That's why we have 3 sacrificial lambs each week. And they go on the wall. Dun, 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 dun. Subscribe to the channel! Subscribe to the channel! Oh, you made me spill my water. All right, I think it is time for some news.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Shut up.
Okay.
China released a visual of its first drone mothership. And is this the future of war? Why? It's called the Jutian UAV, and it's designed not just to carry weapons, but to launch, coordinate, and control what some are calling the swarm mid-air. The swarm is... Tell me one good thing that is named the swarm. It's never a good thing. They say that it's capable of dropping up to 100 mini drones, potentially including kamikaze type drones, not great, all for the purpose of overwhelming and turning off air defense systems of enemies. Yeah, that's good. The Chinese state broadcaster, CCTV, said that its first test flight is coming in June. Looking forward to that. Next! France is building a $450 million prison, mega prison, deep in the jungle. What is going on with prisons? Why does everyone want a mega prison to just throw people nowadays? In fact, the escapees, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. All right, no, I get it. I'm behind. Now, it's going to be in their overseas territory of French Guiana, and it's going to hold drug lords, gang leaders, radical Islamists, and cartel leaders. France's justice minister said that this was intentional so that these cartel bosses, they can't run their criminal networks from inside prison, which they are often currently doing. If you remember, we spoke about that like a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago. These coordinated attacks on France's prisons, like serious guns at the prisons. So yeah, I guess this kind of makes a lot of sense for the worst of the worst. Next, let's talk about AI, because this is probably one of the creepiest stories I've read in a while. Anthropic just released its new AI, and during testing, it actually tried to blackmail engineers if it thought that it was about to be closed down. AI blackmail. This is not sounding good. Like, apparently it found emails about one of the engineers' affair. Gosh, and now we're all reading about it. Jeez. And it threatened to leak them unless it stayed online. So the news just did it anyway. Now, it's reported that this only happened in extreme test scenarios, but still, the fact that this is even possible is kind of freaky. And it's not just with Anthropic. Researchers say that this kind of behavior is popping up across all of the big AI models right now. Like, what happens when AI has self-preservation? Which is, these are the kind of tendencies that it's displaying. Self-preservation. I think that's where we stop the video. All right, I hope that you guys enjoyed yet another wild, chaotic week of the world, this week on Earth. But that's it for me today. I love you. I will see you for the rest of the week. We're doing Monday and Friday this week. I promise. I promise. See you on Monday and Friday. I heard a horror story once that you can twist your balls to the point where you have to get surgery, and it just happens. They I don't know, it's pretty scary.